to right at this point as the Cubs take the field, but hopefully none of the wet stuff today. Game 2 of this series, and it'll be Mark Prior against Joe Kennedy on the hill. Let's check out the Colorado Rockies Southwest starting lineup. Desi Relaford's going to lead it off at short. Clint Barmas not getting the start. Remember, he twisted his left ankle yesterday on a slide at second, but he is available today off the bench. Luis Gonzalez at second. Todd Helton at first. It's Preston Wilson had a couple of RBIs and that home run late. In center, Brad Hoppe in right. Matt Holliday out in left field. At third base, Garrett Atkins, and the battery today, Closser and Kennedy.
Let's take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Rico. Du Bois, Patterson, and Burnitz in the outfield. Ramirez, Perez, Hairston back in at second base today and leading off. Derek Lee at first base, and Henry Blanco, as per usual, catching for right-hander Mark Prior. There you see his numbers against the White Sox. The one game that the Cubs won in that 3-game set, Mark Prior was outstanding.
Well, the starters in general have been very good on this homestand. Each starter has gone at least 7 innings in all 7 games on the homestand. And the last time the Cubs starters went 7+ innings in 7 or more consecutive games, you have to go back to 1972 when the Cubs did it in 10 straight. So Mark Prior will try to keep that streak going today, and of course went 9 innings in his last start as he beat the Chicago White Sox.
I think part of the reason for the streak that the Cubs starters find themselves in is they've been very efficient with their pitches. In the early going of the season, it wasn't unusual to see one of our starters at the 100-pitch mark in the 5th inning, but they've been able to work deeper into the ball games and be more effective because they've been more efficient within the strike zone.
And good to see Rockies manager Clint Hurdle back in the dugout. He missed 6 games to be with his family. His daughter Madison was in the hospital. She is out of the hospital and recovering. She had suffered from multiple seizures. But he's happy to be back, and of course we'll keep a close eye on what's happening at home with his family as well. So it's Desi Relaford to lead it off for the Rockies today. Switch hitter, and he looks at a strike on a fastball from Prior. Rockies 2-5 on their road trip. That'll go 10 games through this weekend. They're hitting 185 on the trip and scoring under 3 runs per game. So for the Rockies lately, it's been on the road. For the Cubs at home, but both offenses scuffling right now. Rockies were able to bust out and score 5 runs yesterday.
Yeah, it's not unusual in the early part of the season in Major League Baseball for the pitchers to be a little bit ahead of the hitters. A lot of times the weather is not conducive to big offensive outbursts in the early part of the season, but at some point that offense has to get it going.
Prior working with Henry Blanco today, and a swing and a miss on a curveball. That's out number 1.
Prior's had a real consistent breaking ball in his last couple of starts. It's such a short, tight breaker late in the hitting area. Tough to lay off of, tough to make solid contact with. Even when you put that ball in play, generally you're hitting the top half of the ball, hitting a harmless grounder.
And it brings up Luis Gonzalez starting in second. Aaron Miles went on the DL before this series. Saw Desi Relaford at second yesterday. Today it's Gonzalez, and Clint Hurdle would like to see Gonzalez at second. If he can get it going against right-handed pitchers. He's hitting a 152 against righties. There's a bouncer to Ramirez. Easy play. 2 down. And it's Todd Helton. Boy, you see this number for Todd Helton and you almost don't believe it. He is 2 for his last 34. Can't imagine he's gone through many streaks like this.
Well, if you're a Rockies fan or if you're a Colorado Rocky, you know at some point he's going to go 34 for 36. That's just the kind of hitter Todd Helton is. He doesn't have too many extended slumps, but he more than offsets them.
Burnett's will run it down. The ball was stung by Todd Helton. 1, 2, 3 go the Rockies. Jerry Hairston will lead it off for the Cubs when we return to Wrigley. No score. The Cubs will bat here in the first inning. Change the way you experience television with Sony's high definition TV, available at your local Sears store. Well, Bob, it appears Joe Kennedy has an issue with the mound as the grounds crew's out manicuring near the rubber in the landing area. The home plate umpire today is Rob Drake.
Well, every pitcher has their own way of working off that rubber. Some pitchers like to work the third base side, the first base side. Some guys have a longer stride than others. Some guys like to dig a big hole in front of the rubber to drop that foot down into as they drive to home plate. And occasionally when you have obviously two pitchers out there on the mound, if they're not landing in just the right spots, that landing hole or the push-off hole, whichever the case may be, could get to be problematic. And Joe Kennedy had them manicure the mound a little bit. You'll watch Kennedy, he throws across his body in a drastic fashion. He works on that third base side of the rubber, but steps back toward the center of the mound and throws across his body. It aids in his deception, hides the ball, especially from the left-handed hitters.
Well, here is Mark Pryor after the top of the first inning. So what may have happened is the Rockies may have seen that, and Joe Kennedy went out and noticed the same thing. So now the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Jerry Hairston in there against the lefty today. So Todd Walker is on the bench. Neifi Perez batting second. Lee Ramirez, Dubois, Burnitz. And at the bottom, Corey Patterson hitting seventh because it's a left-hander today. Blanco and Pryor 8 and 9.
Defensively for the Rockies, Matt Holliday in left, Preston Wilson in center, Brad Hopp in right field, Atkins, Relaford, Gonzalez, and Helton across the infield, and J.D. Closser catching for the left-hander, Joe Kennedy.
Who is ready to work to Jerry Hairston, and these two guys have battled before. And Kennedy was a Devil Ray, and Jerry Hairston was a Baltimore Oriole.
Now, Hairston has the most at-bats against Joe Kennedy of any Cub, 19.
Behind second base, and Desi Relaford will make the catch.
Well, the hot button topic the last 24 hours has been patience at the plate. A lot of very aggressive at-bats yesterday afternoon for the Cubs against a pitcher who was leading the National League in walks coming in. Now, granted, Jennings threw the ball much better yesterday, obviously, than he has throughout the season. He was in the strike zone, but he was making quality pitchers pitches, and I think that's the biggest bone of contention for Dusty and his staff. There's a difference between swinging at the first pitch if it's a pitch you want and swinging at the first pitch just because it's a strike. I mean, that strike zone is a big area. Some hitters can handle some areas and not other areas, and a lot of times the Cubs were chasing pitchers' pitches.
Perez lines out to Relaford. And let's check out the Geico quote today from Todd Walker. Right now, we're just not a very good team. That's the bottom line. He did add, that can change in a hurry. And the Cubs hoping it changes today. Now Derek Lee standing in. He admits he's probably pressed a little bit. Derek Lee said it's hard not to when the offense is struggling. But he said you try to block that out and just try to do what you can do, not try to carry the entire team on your shoulders. 1-0 from Kennedy, and it's just off the outside corner. You'll see Kennedy occasionally use a curveball, but last year he had a lot of success going away from a curveball, which of course doesn't break as much at Coors Field, and going with a tighter breaking ball, a slider or a cutter. Well, the curveball really suffers at altitude.
Oh, no question about it. You're much better served as a pitcher at Coors Field to rely on some kind of a straight changeup, whether it be a split-fingered fastball or a circle change. You just can't get the same kind of movement on breaking balls in the high elevation that you get at other ballparks. A decent fastball. He'll approach the low 90s on occasion. He uses that cutter in on the hands of the righties.
That is barely foul. Bob Davidson made the call at third base. Chris Spire has a couple of words for him, but he said, nope, I saw it. It was foul. Let's see where it lands.
Whoa. Very close right there. I mean, that foul line is painted on the grass as it goes down the left field line there. And it used to be you could see chalk dust fly, but they don't so much use chalk dust anymore as they use paint. And of course, the paint sticks to the grass and doesn't fly up the way chalk used to.
John McEnroe would have said that ball was clearly on the line. You cannot be serious. Would have been a little louder, but 3-2 on Lee. And he draws the walk. Get the Cyclops out here. Well, you look at the combined numbers for Derek Lee and Aramis Ramirez on this homestand, and they're a combined 7 for 47. So it's been a struggle. A couple of the big right-handed swinging boppers on this homestand.
I mean, even Derek Lee yesterday with runners on base swung at a bad pitch. First pitch, fastball up and in, jammed him a little bit. And there's not a more patient hitter in the National League than Derek Lee as far as working counts in his favor, getting good pitches to drive. And even he got away from his game plan a little bit yesterday. I think it's that old cliche about everybody's trying to do too much. And rather than have one guy or two guys do more than they're capable of, have everybody do a little bit. That seems to be a program that works pretty well when everybody just does a little bit instead of one guy trying to do it all.
They're making Kennedy work here late in the inning. And Aramis a lot better against lefties than righties this year. Cubs are 4-5 against left-handed starters. As a team hitting .261 against righties and .259 against lefties. Jason Du Bois is on deck. Kennedy will throw over to first. Kennedy without a pickoff here in 05, but he did pick off 5 base runners last year, tied for second in the National League. To the plate. And he has walked back-to-back Cubs here in the first inning. Cubs didn't get their first walk yesterday against Jason Jennings until pretty deep in the ball game with 2 outs in the 7th.
Well, that's because there weren't very many at-bats when Cubs hitters saw 4 pitches. Swinging at the first pitch, second pitch, sometimes the third pitch, but very rarely did they get any deeper than that into the count.
So Jason Du Bois, 5 for 17, a double, a home run, 3 RBIs on this homestand. Did not get the start yesterday. It was Todd Hollandsworth instead. And Jason went 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. There you have it. The first pitch swings. John Mabry at the top. Mike Matheny is 5th, and 3 guys in the middle. All Cubs. The 0-1, and it's 1-1 on Jason.
And once again, if you get the pitch you're looking for and put a good aggressive swing on it, there's really no downside to swinging at the first pitch. The problem comes in when you swing at that pitcher's pitch. Borderline strikes along the bottom of the zone, the outside of the zone. Tough to do anything with those pitches. And just the swings you take as a hitter are considerably different when the count is 2 balls and 1 strike as opposed to 1 ball and 2 strikes. You have to be a little more defensive. Now you do have to expand your zone, protect against the borderline strikes.
Kennedy with the 2-1 and got it past Du Bois at 87. Kennedy has won back-to-back starts for the first time this year, so looking for his 3rd consecutive win. Went into the 9th inning in his longest outing on Sunday at Pittsburgh. Gave up 3 runs, 2 were earned. He's run it full, 3-2, so the runners will get a head start here with 2 outs. Kennedy has thrown 20 pitches here in the 1st inning. He was very good in his last start. Runners go, the pitch, and the bases are loaded. Kennedy has walked them full. And Bob Apodaca was walking out, now jogging out. Well, pretty interesting. You talk about patience, and the Cubs with back-to-back-to-back walks, and the Rockies leading the league by a wide margin. 215 walks. They also have the fewest strikeouts.
Well, not only the obvious immediate benefits of having the bases loaded here and an opportunity to score some runs in the 1st inning, but running up the pitch count on Kennedy, which will limit his effectiveness later in the ball game. And you get to see more pitches. I mean, next time up, Jason Du Bois, Aramis Ramirez, Derek Lee, they've seen a number of pitches already from Joe Kennedy, so in their next at bat they'll have even better idea of what to look for, what to expect.
Jeremy Burnett sitting 250 as he gets a breaking ball for strike 1. 250 against lefties. He got a home run Monday of Wandy Rodriguez. 7 career grand slams for Burnett. The 0-1 is inside. Says he feels a lot more comfortable against lefties than he did earlier in his career. And of course, Bernie's been an everyday player. Hasn't mattered righty, lefty, hard thrower, soft tosser. He's been in there. Fouled right at the plate. Made an interesting point. He said, because that front shoulder sometimes tends to fly open, he said sometimes facing a lefty is good for him because he can't fly open. He says, I have no chance against the lefty. So it keeps him closed and he stays on the ball. One and 2 on Burnett's. Bases loaded, 2 outs. High in the air, but this one will be easy for Preston Wilson. So the Cubs load him up on 3 straight walks with 2 outs, but leave the first empty-handed. Mark Pryor against Preston Wilson, ball 1. 2nd inning, Pryor worked a 1-2-3 first. After Wilson, Brad Hopp, the right fielder, and Matt Holliday, the left fielder. Well, the lights are on here at Wrigley. Well, it's a very sunny morning. Not a lot of clouds, but with the strong wind, clouds rolled in very quickly. Just missed the outside corner. Our gun read 100, but the stadium gun here read 90, so we'll split the difference. Say it was 95 for fun.
Talking to Dick Pohl, the bench coach for the Cubs before the ball game, there was a young lady recalibrating the radar gun behind home plate before the game. Apparently the readings have been considerably off lately. Sometimes you get the throwback too. I love that when they miss the pitch, but they get the catcher's throw back to the pitcher.
Yeah.
And flash it up on the board. 48.
3-2 to Wilson, and he laid off a high pitch. Pryor not happy with himself. And that's a first base runner for the Rockies. Recalibrated be a good word of the day. A lot of syllables. Brad Hopp will bat 0 for 3 with a walk yesterday. Mark Pryor 4-0 with a 1.29 ERA with 1 complete game in 4 outings against Colorado. But again, hasn't faced a lot of these hitters, and the guys he has faced, not a lot of at bats. First time he has faced Brad Hopp. Hopp is hitting .344 on the road. And the pitch, good block by Blanco. Preston Wilson walked to start this inning. And the pitch fouled back. Preston Wilson said yesterday the Rockies need some of their veteran players to just play better, take some of the pressure off the young guys. We mentioned Helton has struggled. Preston Wilson overall this year at .246. You think about what happened yesterday. Todd Green with a home run. Wilson had 2 RBIs. Desi Relaford with a couple of hits.
You know, I understand Preston Wilson's sentiments to try to take some of the pressure off the young kids, but in a roundabout way, watching how the veterans handle struggles is an important lesson for the young players to learn as well, because it's not always going to be sunshine and roses at the major league level. And watching how Todd Walker and Preston Wilson continue to go about their business, get their early work in, go out there and grind every at bat is a valuable lesson for a young player to learn as well.
Well, Hopp worked out in the offseason with Rafael Palmeiro, mostly lifting and running. Of course, now a teammate of Todd Helton. Well, a couple of great guys to hang around. You're a left-handed hitter. 2-2, and now it's full. Talked about the knee problems for Preston Wilson last year. Well, in years past, he probably already would have tried to steal second base, but he's just 2 for 2 this year. He is running this time, and he can pull up because it's a walk. So back-to-back walks for Pryor. 5 walks between the 2 starting pitchers here early on.
It should be pointed out that home plate umpire Rob Drake, we've had him several times already this year behind the plate. He's worked a couple of Greg Maddux games behind the plate when Maddux wasn't pleased with the strike zone or lack of a strike zone. Rob Drake is just one of those umpires that makes the pitcher throw it over the plate. He doesn't go off the corners. He'll force you to throw the ball in the strike zone, and if you don't, you're going to fall behind a lot of counts. There's going to be a lot of base on balls.
Took him 8 pitches to get 3 outs in the first inning. He's thrown 12 here in the second inning. Matt Holliday rifles one into left, and the bases are loaded with nobody out. And a good play by Du Bois to get it back in quickly. First hit for the Rockies.
Crisp single into left field. As you mentioned, nice job by Jason Du Bois to get to that ball quickly. Unleashed a strong throw, and with nobody out in the inning, Mike Gallego, the third base coach for the Rockies, playing it cautiously and holds Preston Wilson there. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Well, that's the bad news. The good news is Mark Pryor has been in some jams this year that he's gotten out of. And right now to the bottom of the order, Atkins and then Closser, followed by the pitcher. Atkins hitting .341 over his last 14 games. The wind and the pitch. That's a strike, 1-1. Just in conversations I've had with different pitchers, it's interesting to talk to them about situations like this. Sometimes a young pitcher will say to himself, I've got to get out of this inning with no runs allowed. There are other pitchers who say, you know, that guy from third, I'm not going to worry about him. If I give up a run here, that's okay. You just try to limit the damage.
Damage control, that's an important lesson for a young pitcher to learn. Sometimes you just have to concede that they're probably going to get a point out of this situation. Now, this particular situation with the bottom of the order coming up and Pryor's ability to come up with a strikeout pitch, now you may view this one a little differently, but you're absolutely right. I'm sure Greg Maddux feels that way sometimes. If I can just get out of this inning giving up one, I will have done my job. But Pryor could find a way to put away Atkins right here. J.D. Closser, the number 8 hitter, has struggled mightily through the early going this year, hitting .169, and then you've got the pitcher coming up.
1-2 pitch. Fly to right. Burnitz will make the catch. Wilson will score easily on a sac fly, and also Hopp able to move from second to third. So 2 for 1 for Garrett Atkins, and he'll get an RBI on the sac fly.
Ball's deep enough that Jeremy Burnitz has no chance to throw out Preston Wilson at home plate, so he does the right thing. Get the ball back in quickly to second base. Make sure you hold that runner at first. Now, if Mark Pryor can induce a double play from, or rather a ground ball from J.D. Closser, you could possibly have a double play and be out of the inning. Now, you try to throw the guy out at the plate or try to throw the guy out at third, that runner at first advances right along with the guys ahead of him and takes the double play right out of the equation.
J.D. Closser onto a very slow start. In fact, Todd Green has gotten a lot of the playing time lately, with Closser struggling. His first career at bat against the Cubs. And the 0-1 pitch, didn't mean to, and it fouled it back. It'd be interesting if, you know, Ryan Dempster could chime in right now. The issue of bases loaded or second and third, nobody out in an early game situation. Of course, Dempster has been a starter, but now he's a closer. Of course, if he were in the spot in the 8th or 9th inning in a one-run game, you don't view it the same way. You don't look at it like, oh, I can give up one. So it certainly depends on the situation, and he has had to make an adjustment in how he approaches hitters and how he sets up guys. Can't think too far down the road when you're in the 9th inning of a one-run game.
You think about your next pitch. I mean, it's a pitch-to-pitch proposition in that 9th inning, trying to protect a short lead.
The 0-2 is fouled off. Well, that was the one thing John Smoltz talked about when he closed. He said if you're a starter and your breaking ball isn't working, you still have time to recover it over the course of 5 or 6 innings. When you become a short reliever, if one of your pitches isn't working, you just don't throw it. Inside 1-2.
Of course, John Smoltz had a number of pitches in his arsenal to go to. If one of them wasn't working on a given day, he still had 3+ pitches to go to.
Next pitch to Closser, and another foul. He's hanging in there. Count holding it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This inning set up by a couple of walks to start the inning, and then the Holiday single. Garrett Atkins with a sac fly to make it 1-0. Cubs have been unable to really get in a groove at home. This is home game number 25, and the Cubs are 12-12 through 24.
Now you take a .500 record on the road, anticipating that you're going to play much better, win 2 out of 3 of every series at home, but has not been the case so far for the Cubs.
8 pitches already to J.D. Closser, a guy who has been struggling, just 1 for his last 15. But a long at bat here against Pryor. The 3-2 of the runner moving from first, hit high in the air, but he pulled it foul. Might be your first game today. Parents describing what's going on the field. Another 3-2 runner moving again from first, and that's the 3rd walk of the inning. So they are loaded again.
And Pryor with a long look in after that 3-2 breaking ball. He thought he might have had one. Take one more look at it right here. Remember, it's not where Henry Blanco catches the ball, it's where it crosses the front of home plate. A lot of late movement on that breaking ball. Closser's pretty sure it's a ball. He throws his bat away, gets rid of that shin guard, and heads on down to first. Mark Pryor wasn't quite so sure.
So it brings up Joe Kennedy, who's a left-handed pitcher, but he's a right-handed hitter. Aren't a lot of guys, pitchers or otherwise, who throw left-handed and bat right-handed. Ricky Henderson comes to mind. Randy Johnson would be another. There are a few. Ramirez about even with a bag at third. Everybody else in double play depth. One and one on the pitcher. Just 1 hit in this inning, but 3 walks. Fires 1-1 pitch, a strike on the outside corner. With a high pitch count here early on, Cubs will have to keep a close eye on him because he threw 126 in the complete game performance on Sunday. And Kennedy strikes out, bangs the bat on the plate. 2 down in the inning and a chance to get out of it. With only 1 run allowed, Desi Relaford coming up.
You know, the sun playing hide and seek here, popping in and out of the clouds. That makes it a little tough for everybody. Aramis Ramirez goes over to get his sunglasses. Standing in that batter's box with a little cloud cover, and suddenly the sun pops through. And then as the pitch is on its way to the plate, it hides behind a cloud again.
Relaford struck out swinging to start the game today. Strike 1. Long look by Pryor. Quick glance over at Hopp at third. And we've discussed this before when you talk about pitch counts. Sometimes it's not just about the number, it's about how you get to a certain number. And because of this inning, this is a kind of inning that will affect your decision later. Even if he's at 100 in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, it may make Dusty Baker and Larry Rothschild have a quicker hook today, because he has had to labor here in the second.
You may have a series of 25 or 30 pitches in an inning like this with runners in scoring position every one of those pitches, and you really bear down a lot more physical energy, a lot more emotional energy on each one of those pitches.
Crowd getting into it. Here's the 1-2. He struck him out. So he gives up just one. Walk 3 in the inning. The Rockies strand 3. Middle of the second, 1-0. Well, we want to send out a happy 50th birthday to Cubs radio play-by-play man Pat Hughes. He spilled some lunch on himself, but happy birthday to Pat.
Big birthday cake they had up in the
Oh,
lunchroom.
yeah.
That's probably what it was.
I've got a big piece of birthday cake here in the booth. It is 1-0 Rockies. Bottom of inning number 2. Also a happy birthday to the loquacious George Castle. Get the word of the day in very early today. The garrulous George Castle. Talkative.
So was garrulous or loquacious the word of the day?
I think loquacious.
Okay.
Garrulous would be a synonym.
Now there's
loquacious.
Another word of the day.
As the 1-0 pitch to Corey Patterson hit hard on the ground past first. Corey batting 7th today. Down a spot against the left-hander Kennedy. Kind of lost in all the talk about Corey not loving the idea of being a leadoff man is that he's 9 for 20 on the homestand. So he has had a good homestand. 9 home runs on the year. Swing and a miss. So Patterson becomes the first strikeout victim of Joe Kennedy.
Big breaking ball from Kennedy. You mentioned he doesn't throw it as often at Coors Field, but on road starts, if he has a good feel for that breaking ball, he will go to it more in road games than he will in home games, and that time got Corey to swing right over the top of a breaking ball.
Ball 1 on Henry Blanco, a former Rocky. Pitch. Now 3-0. It does make you wonder, with the 3 walks from Kennedy in the first inning, the 3 from Pryor in the second, if that mound just hasn't allowed the starters to get totally comfortable today. 3-1.
Well, it may not seem like much to a novice or even to a position player, but to a pitcher, that's where they work. And much like when you see a batter get in the batter's box and
he hit it too far. Holiday with a catch.
You see the batter get in the batter's box and dig that toe hold and clear all the excess dirt out of the batter's box before they get in there to hit. And yeah, they do that because they want their footing to be firm underneath them. They want to be comfortable in the batter's box, and the pitchers feel the same way about the mound.
So it's Pryor with 2 down, nobody on, and a strike and a fastball. Joe Kennedy last year set a Rockies club record at a 3.66 ERA. "14 starts at Coors Field last year. His earned run average was 3.59. Called strike 3. Got him on a breaker for his second strikeout. 2 in the books from Wrigley. It's 1-0 Rockies. We'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on Cass Cable in Virginia, Illinois. Mark Pryor threw a lot of pitches in the second inning. 36 pitches in the second inning. Rockies had him loaded with nobody out. Pryor was able to limit the damage to just 1 run. The 0-1 to Luis Gonzalez is driven into center in front of Corey Patterson. So he's 1 for 2.
We always hate to see that guy get on base ahead of Todd Helton. As you mentioned earlier, he has been struggling this year, but you give Todd Helton a hole on that right side of the infield, he's going to find a way to roll over a ball and try to hit one through that hole.
Ball 1 on Helton. Boy, if you're going to give up base runners, though, most pitching coaches would rather see a pitcher give up a base hit on the first or second pitch than the walks that Mark Pryor had in the second inning. That's why he had that inflated pitch count. And that's also why Jason Jennings was able to go as deep into yesterday's game as he did. Jennings went into the 8th inning. Officially 7 innings plus because he allowed the first 2 men in the 8th to reach. In his career, Todd Helton has hit .302 against the Cubs. He's hit 25 home runs here at Wrigley, but just a .266 average. Fly to left field, and Du Bois backpedaling, and he has it right in front of the warning track. So Todd Helton is now 0 for 5 to start this series.
Ball hit into left field. Gonzalez goes 3/4 of the way, maybe even a little further down to second base, and then has to retreat as Du Bois makes the catch out there. Well, you know, much was made of Jason Du Bois and his defensive shortcomings earlier this season, but watching him in pregame workouts, it's apparent it's something that he's working very hard to improve, and he is getting much better. I think a lot of it just has to do with the comfort factor. The more innings you play, the more balls you take off the bat in batting practice, the more familiar you get with your surroundings out there. You know how many steps you have to reach the warning track, how many steps you have after that before you reach the vines. And Jason looks like he's getting much more comfortable out there in left field.
Well, we talked yesterday with Jason Jennings on the mound about, you know, that 1 bad inning per start. Well, for Mark Pryor, really it's been 1 bad inning all year. His first 8 starts, 7 quality starts. The 0-2 line at Hairston, the throw to first, save. And Mike Riley saying that Derek Lee was off the bag, and that's why he called Gonzalez safe. Looked like the throw beat him.
Well, it sure did. We've talked at times throughout the season about how a first baseman will try to cheat off that bag just a little bit to influence the umpire. I don't know. It looked like he had that ball in glove before he pulled the right foot off the bag. It looked like he might have lifted it up rather than drag it off the bag. He kind of lifted it up off the base as the runner slid back into first.
And a delayed steal. Gonzalez is tagged out by Perez. Tried the delayed steal, but Henry Blanco nailed him. He's now 4 for 6. Henry is. And nailing base stealers this year. So the inning comes to an end after 2.5. Get a complete recap of the day in sports with Sports Night on Comcast Sportsnet. Coming up tonight at 6:30, Cubs highlights from this one. Join Gail Fisher and William Jackson for Sports Night tonight at 6:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet.
We talk about stealing bases on a pitcher with a slow delivery or a catcher with a weak arm. A delayed steal is to try to take advantage of the middle infielders. A couple of big crow hop shuffles off the bag at first and then break late for second base, hoping to catch the middle infielders with their head down. But a couple of crafty veterans like Henry Blanco and Neifi Perez, you're not going to fool those guys.
Jerry Hairston to deep left, and that ball is just off the bottom of the wall. Hairston will be safe at second. Just got in. Boy, Holliday played the carom beautifully, almost threw out Hairston. Jerry with the first Cubs hit today.
Big breaking ball that kind of hangs over the middle of the plate for Jerry Hairston. And you're right, a great play by Holliday. Two-hopper off the wall. Hairston going hard all the way out of the batter's box. And it's a darn good thing he did, because this was a close play at second base. I like the hustle.
There's Neifi, and he's squaring to bunt. Pushes one toward Helton. He will throw to Gonzalez, covering first. Now, you mentioned it yesterday. Todd Helton is very good at charging those balls and firing to the other side of the diamond. But Neifi was able to deaden it just enough.
Yeah, he really did. Hit that ball off the very end of the bat. Just a couple of hops and then a slow roll through the thick grass on the right side of the infield, and no play except on Neifi at first base. This is one of those situations. You remember our keys to the game. Take advantage of your opportunities. Cash in those runners. Perfect situation for the Cubs with their 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up here. Runner at third base, only one out in the inning.
Derek is 2 for 10 against Kennedy. Walked his first time. And it's 2-0. Now 3-0, and you wonder if the Rockies will give Derek anything to hit in this at bat.
Well, with those numbers in mind, probably not. And believe me, the Rockies know that as well. They're going to go ahead and put him on base and set up a potential double play with Aramis Ramirez coming to the plate.
It's really the percentage play at this point when you consider the season Lee has had and the struggles of Aramis Ramirez, even though Lee has cooled off over the last week or so.
And one way you can thwart this strategy is to have Derek Lee steal early in the at bat here. Take the double play out of the equation. J.D. Closser, the Rockies catcher, 0 for 15 trying to throw out attempted base stealers this year.
He went after a breaking ball and pulled it foul on the ground. And Aramis has struggled in getting that guy in from third with less than 2 outs. He's 1 for 7 in these situations. Here's a pitch, base hit. That'll get it done. And it's 1-1. So Ramirez with his 19th RBI.
Fastball down and in. He really goes down and gets it. Well, Ramirez, in my eyes, has always been a good low fastball hitter. He chased a breaking ball up earlier in the sequence, but when he got that fastball down in the zone, he just dropped the head of the bat on it and lined it through the left side.
First and second for Du Bois, and that pitch is inside. Mentioned Joe Kennedy's ERA last year. He was actually happy to be going to Colorado. How about that? Just needed a change of scenery after a dismal 0-3 season with Tampa Bay. Aren't too many pitchers who will say that. The change of scenery they need is to go to Coors Field and pitch half their games. But he went 9-7 last year. Pedro Estacio is the only starter in Rockies history to have back-to-back records. Well, Joe Kennedy coming in today at 3-4 on the year. And Derek Lee was way off second. Looked like he wanted to run, and Kennedy faked the throw, and Lee had to go back.
You see those numbers for the Rockies starter Joe Kennedy. That inside move at second base there, sometimes that will be a planned pickoff play put on by a middle infielder, and other times the pitcher will just sense that that runner's getting too far off base and do it on his own.
Rainbow to right. Lee is going to tag as Hop makes a catch. Ramirez back to first.
That wind pushing that ball deeper and deeper into right field. Hop has to catch the ball backpedaling. Very easy decision for Derek Lee to tag up and advance to third, but much shorter throw into second base, so Aramis Ramirez has no choice but to hold up at first.
A run in here in the third inning to tie it, and it's Burnitz to try to give the Cubs the lead. Bounce to Helton, looks it in and steps on the bag for out number 3. 2 hits, 1 run, 2 left. After 3, it's 1-1 from Wrigley. Time to check out the Aflac trivia question. On this date in 1981, what did Seattle third baseman Lenny Randle do to upset then Royals manager Jim Fry? Answer coming up.
I think I know this one.
Off Mark Pryor. Ouch. And caught by Ramirez, but Mark Pryor's the issue right now. Don't know where it hit him, but he is writhing in pain. That ball was absolutely scorched by Brad Hop. Deflected off Pryor. Ramirez with a great catch, but right now everyone concerned about the Cubs starter.
It looked like initially he was grabbing the area above his right elbow.
Well, it is on that right arm. And that's it for Mark Pryor today. So Todd Wellemeyer will come in. Boy, you can see the welt right near his right elbow. And Wellemeyer will get as much time as he needs.
Take another look at this comebacker. Fastball down the middle. Goes right back to where it came from. Instinctively, Mark pulled his right arm back and unfortunately got right in the way of that line drive. Like he almost used his right arm to protect his rib cage and unfortunately got him right near that elbow. Boy, that is something you just do not want to see.
So again, Wellemeyer will get as much time and as many pitches as he needs. So unfortunately for the Cubs, here in the early part of this game, we're only in the 4th inning. The Ford called to the pen. And we'll take a break. Be right back with more baseball. It's 1-1. Well, right-hander Todd Wellemeyer taking some warm-up tosses. Mark Pryor, leaving this game, took a liner off his right arm near the elbow. And let's see and hear this play. Brad Hawpe hit it very hard. Well, a very scary situation here for the Cubs and Mark Pryor.
And after the ball glances off of, or rather hits Mark Pryor, you see Aramis Ramirez diving into foul territory to make the catch. Obviously a legal catch. The ball had not touched the ground. But one of those highlight reel plays that you hate to see.
While we have a moment, let's get the answer to our Aflac trivia question. On this date in 1981, what did Seattle third baseman Lenny Randle do to upset then Kansas City skipper Jim Frye? That's right. Remember, he got down on his knees and actually blew a ball foul.
Fastball
On the AstroTurf. Ball slowly rolling down the third base line. There's Lenny Randle. Blows it into foul territory.
You don't think that'll make this week in baseball, do you?
So Jim Frye argued the call. Larry McCoy, the home plate umpire, eventually overturned it and gave a single to Amos Otis. So here's Todd Wellemeyer making his 9th appearance and his first since Saturday. 2/3 of an inning, 2 strikeouts against the White Sox in the middle game of that series. So obviously they'll try to get the swelling down for Mark Pryor, and at some point will, you would think, take an X-ray, and well, you just hope he's okay.
Well, a lot of it just depends on the actual location of contact. If it's above the elbow joint, generally that will come with a lot of swelling that drains down into the joint itself. If it's below the elbow, the swelling generally moves down toward the wrist and is not as much of a factor in the elbow joint. But of course, if it's right on the elbow, there are a lot of bones in that area and very little padding. Just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
Second injury suffered by a Cubs pitcher on a comebacker as Holiday taps one to Wellemeyer. Remember, Joe Borowski in spring training suffered a fractured bone in his right wrist. Well, it's not easy to be out there and on that mound, and you know, it's 60 feet 6 inches, but of course by the time the pitch is delivered, you're a lot closer to home plate than that.
And they've done studies and have said that a hitter has approximately 4/10 of a second to decide whether a pitch is going to be a ball or a strike, or if you want to swing at it or not. When it comes back the other way, it's a lot quicker than that. So obviously very little reaction time.
Wellemeyer gets 2 men out as he relieves the injured Pryor. It's 1. Hey kids, want to be a Walgreens celebrity bat kid? Then send your name, age, address, phone number, and parent or guardian signature to WGN Radio. Winners will be selected at random. Entries will be accepted until August 29th. Good luck. Of course, we're never quite sure, but we think Tom Otis Hellman has retired from being the bat kid, at least for now. Joe Kennedy facing Corey Patterson here in the 4th inning. It is a 1-1 game. A big story today, Mark Pryor leaving after taking a liner off his right arm near the elbow in the top of the 4th. Inside on Patterson.
And usually the immediate treatment is to pack it in ice right away. Some kind of an ice bag, wrap an ace bandage around it. Try to minimize the swelling initially until they can have a doctor take a look and run the appropriate test. But sure, right now Mark is sitting up in the training room with that right elbow heavily packed in ice.
Hitters count here for Corey. The kick and the 3-1 pitch is a bouncer to Helton. Well, a lot of birthdays today. Tape operator Ed Kecker with a birthday. Happy birthday to Ed. Frank Thomas and Jeff Bagwell share the same birthday. That is today. Both right now in the DL. Frank Thomas on a rehab assignment, and Jeff Bagwell very close to right shoulder surgery. See, I think they're 37. I want to say they were born in 1968. This one foul territory and caught. Oh. What a catch by Brad Hopp. Reached over and made a beautiful grab for the out.
One of the nicer catches you'll see in foul territory here at Wrigley Field. Obviously, that is not some padded chain link fence over there. That's a brick wall that's padded, but he goes up over into the crowd to make the play and is able to hang on. Very close to those bullpen mounds, also a factor on that play. It's a nice catch.
Well, you cannot do it much better than that. And we're confirmed Bagwell and Thomas turning 37 today. Todd Wellemeyer with a base hit to right. Let's see, his first big league hit. Todd Wellemeyer went into that at bat 0 for 2 in his career. So congratulations to Welly.
There goes the ball over towards the Cubs dugout. I don't believe that gentleman knows now. They know. I'm going to save that baseball. Maddox said, I don't want it. Pass it on down. Tim Buss, the strength and conditioning coach, sticks it in his pocket. At some point, they will put the appropriate information on that ball, and Todd Wellemeyer will have a keepsake forever. I'd like to analyze this as an inside-out swing, but he was looking to left field as he hit the ball to right field. That's that head fake. Get the defense moving one direction, then hit it the other way.
Well, you better be careful over there at first. Kennedy with a very good move. Hairston doubled and scored the lone Cubs run in the third inning. Upstairs 2-0. Well, Hairston has been a patient hitter. His on base percentage coming in at .362. Almost 100 points higher than his batting average. You look at Todd Helton, he came in at .278, his on base .412 because he has walked 34 times. Three and one.
Wouldn't be a bit surprised to see another pickoff attempt here. Sure, Kennedy would like to get an out without delivering a 3-1 cookie to Jerry Hairston right here. Try to take advantage of a pitcher running the bases who's not very familiar with that.
Cubs now starting a stretch of 11 straight against the National League West. They're just 2-5 against the West. Ground ball to third, and it gets past Atkins, knocked down by Relaford. Everybody's safe. Error on Garrett Atkins, his third of the year. The Rockies with the most errors in the National League, now 37, and the worst fielding percentage in the league.
Looked like Atkins just played this into a bad hop. He started to move to his left. I think he thought the ball was hit a lot harder than it really was. He retreated and played that into a bad hop. Had he gone directly to his left, or maybe even in and to his left, probably would have been a much easier bounce. But you see the Colorado Rockies, lowest fielding percentage in the National League.
Cubs near the bottom as well. Cubs have committed 30 errors. Going to try to take advantage of the gaffe by Atkins with 2 outs here in the 4th.
The 37th error on the season for the Colorado Rockies.
A 1-0 to Nafee, drilled deep to left center field, and that'll roll to the wall. Scoring is Wellemeyer. Right behind him is Hairston, and Nafee makes him pay. It's 3-1. Well, the right side is his power side. He's slugging .538 from the right side, and a big 2-run double.
Cubs cashing in another opportunity here with 2 outs in the inning. Get a couple runners on base. Nafee Perez splits that gap into left center field. With Hairston's speed at first base, he's going to score easily on that ball hit into the gap.
So a couple of unearned runs. Derek Lee busted his bat. Ball ate up Relaford. Perez heading home. Here's the throw to the plate. Save. And it's 4-1. And it's a hit for Lee, so give him an RBI.
Boy, if you could only control where the barrel of that bat goes when it breaks. The bat followed the ball. I think that distracted Relaford out there at shortstop. As you said, the ball just eats him up out there. Bounces back to his right. He tries to barehand it. Chris Spire waving Nafee Perez all the way. Able to beat that relay throw to home plate.
So 3 runs, all after 2 outs, and after the Hairston error, and really Relaford didn't have much of a chance. Had to make a perfect barehand, and the throw was high to the plate.
His momentum carrying him out into left field as he picked that ball up and then tried to stop and throw to the plate. Just couldn't get enough on the throw.
So Joe Kennedy has now allowed 6 unearned runs here in 2005. Ramirez base hit. Lee with the play in front of him will stop at second. Well, this has been encouraging, taking advantage of the error, and 3 straight hits since.
Haven't seen this very often from the Cubs offensively this year. A continued inning where they take advantage of an opportunity that presents itself and then just get that conga line going up there to the plate. Base hits all over the field.
It's also good to see as Bob Apodaca is chatting with his pitcher. It's good to see the Cubs offense kind of take control of this game with the starter getting knocked out due to injury in the top of this inning. Du Bois is the 8th batter here in the 4th inning for the Cubs. It's just amazing how contagious slumps can be. And on the flip side, when guys are hitting and that line keeps moving, how you can just feel the team getting confidence. 1-strike pitch, and that moved Du Bois out of the way.
Yeah, but you're right. I think psychologically coming back this inning after the injury to Mark Prior last inning, if the Cubs had come to the plate and gone down quickly and quietly this inning, it would have really magnified the potential loss of Mark Prior. But offense came out here swinging the bats, putting some runs on the board, and at least the focus for right now has stayed on the field. Obviously tremendous concern for Mark Prior's well-being, but offense swinging the bats well in this inning.
Well, that's always a tough one for a team when you see anybody suffer an injury like that. It'd be easy to lose your focus, but you still have a long way to go today. Du Bois golfs one down the line, and the Cubs are going to get at least one more. Lee's going to score. Stop sign being put on at third as Ramirez stops there. It's a double for Du Bois, and it's now 5-1. Well, the Cubs with 4 runs all after the 2-out error.
Boy, and you have to wonder how much of this extended inning here is a byproduct of working deep counts their first time through the lineup. Seeing a lot of pitches from Joe Kennedy, getting a real good read on his release point. What does his breaking ball do? What's his fastball doing? Second time through the lineup, getting real good swings on the Rockies left-hander.
Yeah, they have batted around. Jeremy Burnett's the number 9 hitter in the inning. Corey Patterson led it off by grounding out. He's on deck. Two and 0 on Burnett. Talked about him feeling like lefties keep him honest and not flying open with his front side. Well, a lot of lefties against left-handed hitters that work the outside part of the plate.
I was talking to Jeremy also about the impatience of the Cubs hitters, specifically in yesterday's ball game, and he says it really gets magnified when you're not swinging well. If you don't feel like your swing is in a groove, that's when you really have to make sure to get good pitches to hit. He was saying when you feel good at the plate and you're swinging the bat well, you're hot, you can hit bad pitches and still hit them hard. But when you're mechanically messed up at the plate, that's when you really have to concentrate on getting good pitches to hit.
.3-1 is hit in the air to right field. It is deep, and it is back, and it is caught by Hop, leaning up against the ivy. Gave it a ride. A lot of hang time for Burnett. So 4 unearned runs for the Cubs, and they lead 5. We like kicking around the soccer ball just to get loose, get ready for the telecast. We're having fun outside today, and inside the Cubs just scored 4 unearned runs to take a 5-1 lead. Ball 1 on J.D. Closser. Todd Wellemeyer came in the 4th inning for the injured Mark Prior. Recorded 2 outs and back out for the 5th after his first major league hit. So he was right in the middle of that rally. In fact, he had the first hit of that inning with 2 outs. Here comes a 2-0, and it misses low. Three and 1. Wellemeyer, a 4th round pick out of Bellarmine University in 2000. Bellarmine is located in his hometown of Louisville, Kentucky.
Look at that bottom half of the fourth inning. Yeah, obviously it's huge for the Cubs offensively. 2 outs, nobody on base. Find themselves scoring 4 runs, getting 5 base hits in the inning. But demoralizing as well for the Rockies. You're out there defensively. You're already thinking about your next at bat. 2 quick outs in the inning, and then suddenly you're out there on defense for another 20 minutes. Look up at the scoreboard, find yourself trailing by 4 runs.
Bunted by Kennedy. Lee will fire to second. Perez to Hairston. 3-6-4 on the double play.
Ball bunted hard to the right side, and Derek Lee, his usual aggressive self, jumps on that ball quickly, and with the pitcher running, you see him just getting out of the batter's box in the back of your screen there, and plenty of time to turn that double play. Well, that's one thing that's changed in the game over the years. That first base position has become an offensive defensive position. Guys who are aggressive like Derek Lee, Todd Helton. We talked about Keith Hernandez when the Mets were in town. Aggressive fielding first baseman can cut down that lead runner and really minimize the damage or take a team completely out of an inning.
Now, the other thing about Derek Lee that you notice when you watch him every day is the accuracy of his throwing arm. Not only feeds to the pitchers at first, but throws to second and to all the other bases. Two and one on Relaford, who has struck out twice, both times against Mark Pryor. The line on Pryor today, 3 1/3, 1 run on 2 hits. He walked 3 all in the second inning. And Mark with 3 strikeouts today through 55 pitches, the last of which resulted in a comebacker, a liner off his right arm. It appeared to be near the right elbow, and that signaled his exit. No swing, says Bob Davidson. Got him. Good job by Wellemeyer after the leadoff walk. Gets the double play ball on the bunt, and then he rings up Relaford. It's 5-1 Cubs. Josh, thank you very much. It's 5-1 Cubs. Bottom 5 from Wrigley. Cubs trying to even up this series at a game apiece. Joe Kennedy still working. He has allowed 5 runs, just 1 earned run today, and victimized by an error with 2 outs in the 4th inning. But after that, he gave up 4 straight hits. Patterson gets under one to center, or Preston Wilson. Well, if you just joined us, some bad news earlier. Mark Pryor in the 4th inning took a liner off his right arm near the elbow and left the game immediately. And we get any updates, we will certainly pass them along to you. And right now the Cubs very concerned about Mark Pryor's well-being, and well, you just hope he's okay.
We're looking at it again, and of course we've seen it several times now, but it appeared like he tried to use his right arm to protect his rib cage, almost an instinctive move just to try to cover up, and in doing so put that right elbow right in the line of fire.
Relaford gets Blanco on the ground out. And going back to the bottom of the 4th, you talk about culpability from the Rockies standpoint. I'm sure people looking at it from a pitcher's perspective would say, well, you know, he had to get 4 outs. You had the error by Atkins that opened the door for the Cubs, but I think a lot of pitching coaches would also say, yeah, that's true, but that's kind of part of the game and it's out of your control and you've got to go out and get the next guy. And boy, the Cubs really made Joe Kennedy pay. And while it is an individual sport in some ways, that's kind of the team aspect of it, just trying to pick each other up. And boy, Joe Kennedy really struggled in stopping the bleeding there in the bottom of the fourth. Cubs were glad to take it.
We've said it many times over the course of 162 games, the defense is going to bail the pitchers out many times, and occasionally the pitcher needs to bail the defense out. A guy makes a bad play, boots a ball. Well, he certainly didn't mean to. He was trying to make the play but wasn't able to get it done. But as a pitcher, you've got to get back up on that bump and go right after the next hitter and try to minimize the damage. But at least for today, Joe Kennedy was not able to do that. Gave up the base hit to Wellemeyer, which really was the shocker of the entire inning.
He strikes out here. It's a 1-2-3 inning, the second such frame for Joe Kennedy. 5-1 Cubs after 5. Baseball brought to you by Robert Morris College, real college for the real world. Todd Wellemeyer has a chance for the win today. In relief. He has pitched particularly well since coming back from AAA Iowa, where he made a few starts. Well, it really was beneficial for him to just pitch, get a few outings, stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, something to be said for that, especially for a guy like Wellemeyer, whose role with the major league club was going to be middle relief. Yeah, throughout spring training, he probably had very few outings where he was able to really build up his pitch count, build up his arm strength. So,
and Ramirez has to hurry. Just gets Gonzalez. He had to wait in that big hop.
Just to finish, I thought Wellemeyer had the opportunity to go down to AAA as a starting pitcher, build up his pitch count, build up his arm strength, and now has been much more effective in his second tour of duty with the big club here.
Over 9 scoreless innings since his return on May 3rd. He's been back for almost a month. Little tapper. Wellemeyer to Lee. Now, when you began your big league career, did you shuttle back and forth to AAA, or were you there for good?
No, I was there for good. I got to the major leagues late. I think I was 27 years old as a rookie in the big leagues, and I think at that point they figured I'm either going to play in the big leagues or go home. So fortunately, I didn't have to get on that shuttle back and forth between AAA and the major leagues.
Boy, a lot of guys have to do it. And in a pitcher's case, well, you'll often see guys go up and down 3 or 4 times in a year.
Yeah, pitchers are a little bit different. A lot of times you'll be called up just as what we used to call the vapor lock guy, that extra pitcher on the staff just in case somebody would get hurt or starter get knocked out early. Other times you get called up for a spot start. You come up, make one start, and go right back to the minor leagues again. So for pitchers, it's more common to be on that shuttle back and forth.
Two and nothing on Wilson. Make it 2-1. Wellemeyer throws a fastball. He'll throw a sinker, slider, and a changeup. That was a slider. Here comes some heat at 95.
Live arm. Well, you work that pitch around the edges of the strike zone where it looks good enough to swing at, but the late movement and the velocity, by the time you get that bat through the hitting zone, the ball's by you.
So a 2-out walk here in the 6th. Last time up, Brad Hopp was retired. He lined out 1-5 off the arm of Mark Pryor. Ramirez made a nice catch over at third. Not too many people saw it. Tell you what, Brad Hopp with one of the better catches we've seen all year. Wanted to foul ground and over the barrier down the right field line. Made a great catch to retire Blanco. Got a very good arm out there in right. He helped LSU get to the national championship in 2000, homered off Mark Pryor, who was with USC at the time. That propelled the Tigers into the semifinals. He's played first base, but of course not going to play first base on this team with Todd Helton firmly entrenched. Wellemeyer has been terrific today. Of all the action, analysis from Dan Plesac, plus here what Dusty Baker has to say during his post-game news conference. Don't miss Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Last of the 6th. Ball 1 on the Cubs leadoff man Jerry Hairston. He has scored twice today. Reached on a double in the 3rd inning, and then the big error by Garrett Atkins in the 4th. Probably see Jerry in the lineup again Sunday against the left-hander Jeff Francis. A change for the Rockies tomorrow. Sean Chacon was originally slated to get the start, but he has a sprained right ankle suffered in his last outing. So Byung-Hyun Kim will get the spot start for the Rockies tomorrow against Glendon Rush.
Boy, and once again, recurring theme against Byung-Hyun Kim. Got to be patient. He has walked more batters than he struck out this year. Walked a batter an inning.
Well, Hairston walks to lead off the 6th. And a right-hander getting loose for the Rockies, David Cortez. Tell you what, Jerry Hairston lately has done some things from that leadoff spot that will make Dusty Baker think about trying to find ways to get him into the lineup, maybe even against some right-handers. The Cubs had a long stretch of games against righties. You may see him try to sneak Jerry into the lineup, because again, the leadoff position has been an issue, and right now it's going to be Hairston when he's playing and Neifi Perez when Hairston is out of the lineup. But I'll tell you, if Corey Patterson or Todd Walker struggles, you could see Hairston get some more playing time down the road.
And Aramis Ramirez with a couple of base hits and a walk in the ball game today looks like he's showing signs of snapping out of his offensive slump, but that would be another possibility. Get some playing time at third base. That's where Hairston's versatility and his original role with this ball club was thought to be the super utility guy. Play him all over the field, spell the regulars from time to time, and of course the injuries early in the season to Walker and Garciaparra made him an everyday player. But now that guys are starting to come back, we may see him resume that super utility role and play all over the field. But you're right, it all hinges on his ability to do things, the little things, get on base, make things happen, steal a base now and then, take an extra base as a runner.
Two strikes on Nafy. Big two-run double in the fourth.
We showed you that crossfire delivery that Kennedy features earlier in the game. Not only is that deceptive for a hitter, it's very deceptive for a base runner. Until he actually commits to delivering that ball to home plate, you're not sure if he's coming to first or going to home.
Rockies leading the National League in pickoffs. Got to figure Chris Capuano has a few for Milwaukee. Of course, the Rockies have had a lot of chances with runners on base. Right now, last in the league with a .574 ERA. Some of those types of numbers can be deceiving. I think the left on base stat can be a bit deceiving. If you leave a lot of guys on, it means you're getting a lot of guys on in the first place. High and deep to left field. This one is back near the well. It's gone. Nafy Perez with his 5th home run, his 3rd from the right side, and it's now 7-1. Give him 4 RBIs today.
Talk about hitting a ball in exactly the right spot. A cement mixer slider or Heineken home run replay into the well. You can see as Holiday drifts back there. If that ball's another foot or two to the left, it gets back into that well area and he might be able to make a catch. But because it went where it did, it ends up in the basket for a 2-run home run.
So showing the power from the right side, and that's going to chase Joe Kennedy out of the game. Gave up 7 runs today, 3 earned runs, and it's time for the Ford call to the pen. The Cubs have opened up a 6. David Cortez, a right-hander, against Derek Lee. Strike one. It's now 7-1. Nafy Perez with his second 4 RBI game this year and has tied his career high. So the offense really coming through today.
Really coming through, and not to belabor a point, but I really think a lot of it had to do with the patience that they showed against Joe Kennedy the first time through the lineup. Every hitter in the Cubs lineup saw 3, 4, 5, 6 pitches, sometimes even more. Second time through the lineup, they had a much better idea of what to expect. They had a much better idea of his arm angle, his release point, and they had some really, really good swings that second time through the order.
And a great job by Todd Wellemeyer thus far in relief of the injured Mark Pryor. 2 strikes on Lee. Fouled back. Number is 4, David Cortez. Rockies have gotten good work out of their bullpen lately. Another 0-2 upstairs, and it's 1-2. Joe Novak coming up, the head football coach at Northern Illinois, would take me out to the ball game in the middle of the 7th. And now it's even. Cortez had his contract selected from AAA Colorado Springs on May 9th. Prior to this year, just 2 brief stints in the majors, 4 games with the Braves in '99, 2 appearances with the Indians in '03. Driven deep. That's a gapper, and it will also get out. Derek Lee hit it just high enough to get it out. His 13th of the year. And it's 8-1. Back-to-back homers for the Cubs here in the 6th.
Looked like a golfer hitting a 2-iron at the driving range. Went down to get a low fastball and golfed it into the bleachers in left center.
Hop is under it. And Ramirez retired for the first time today.
When you see a major league hitter drop the head of the bat on a ball down low in the strike zone like Derek Lee does right here, gets that tremendous backspin, causes the ball to carry a lot further than it normally would, and in this case just far enough to get it up into the bleachers.
Second time the Cubs have gone back-to-back with home runs. Corey Patterson and Ramos Ramirez did it in Cincinnati on April 18th. It was over a month ago. Two strikes on Du Bois. Derek Lee with 2 walks, RBI infield hit and a home run. Neifi Perez 2-run double, 2-run homer. Jerry Hairston has scored 3 times today. Todd Wellemeyer with his first big league hit.
In a rare opportunity, you wonder if some point Dusty Baker might take advantage of the 7-run lead and get some of his bench players a little bit of playing time here in the last 3 innings of this ball game.
Du Bois to center. Wilson never took his eye off the ball, makes a catch.
Haven't seen a lot of Enrique Wilson since he was signed. Jose Macias, a guy that can play all over the field. Could use this opportunity to get those guys a little bit of playing time. Also get some of your regulars out of there, but certainly the foremost thing in Dusty's mind is bringing home a victory today. So until he's absolutely sure this one's in the bag, I would imagine we're going to leave our starters in.
Strike on Burnett, 0 for 3. A deep fly to right in the 4th inning.
Yeah, what a difference the venue makes. You had an 8-1 lead in the 6th inning at Coors Field. You'd still be chewing your fingernails over there. I mean, there is no safe lead at Coors Field. Of course, there's no gravity at Coors Field either, which is why there's no safe lead.
Near the Cubs dugout, Klosser with a nice catch. Kind of almost scaled the railing and made the catch. Neifi Perez with a 2-run homer, followed by Derek Lee with a solo blast. And the Cubs have stretched it out. They now lead 8-1. Todd Wellemeyer still in there, and the Cubs lead 8-1. He came in the 4th. And has not allowed a hit. So the Rockies with 2 hits and 1 run through 6. A 1-0 to Matt Holliday is a strike in the outside corner. Marcos Carvajal is up for the Rockies. Holliday last year 5th in the National League Rookie of the Year balloting. Was a Topps rookie all-star. At 290 in 121 games, 14 home runs, 57 RBIs.
You told the story last night about Jeremy Burnitz in his days at Oklahoma State University babysitting for Matt Holliday, and I asked Jeremy today, did you get paid for that? He says, no, not at all, not at all. He's very aware of violating NCAA regulations.
And again, they were teammates last year. Now 10 years apart. Two, and he walked him. So a leadoff free pass here in the 7th. Wellemeyer has walked 3. Pitch to Atkins. How about a 5-4-3? Now they're getting out at second, and that's it. Well, that's tough for a second baseman. Ramirez took him a little while to get the ball out of his glove, and what ended up happening is Matt Holliday was right on top of Hairston when the throw came to second.
Looked like a tailor-made double play, leading Ramirez right to the bag at second, but he double clutches right there. That gives that runner an extra step to get on top the middle infielder, and Jerry Hairston Jr. tries to jump and throw all in one motion while avoiding that sliding base runner, not able to get anything at all on the throw. Boy, double plays are more about timing than anything else. Rhythm and timing, getting that ball to the middle infielder as he's coming across the bag and can make the exchange into the throwing hand and complete that double play. And anything that disrupts that timing, it's going to make it very tough to turn it.
There's been some talk about J.D. Closser at some point going back to AAA to get some at-bats, try to get out of his offensive slump. He did appear in 36 games last year with the Rockies and hit .319, but it has been a big-time struggle this year. Is it tougher for a catcher early on because of all the other stuff you have to do when you're struggling?
Yeah, really, you can't devote as much time to your offensive problems as you would like because of the amount of time you spend going over advanced scouting reports and talking to your pitching staff, catching bullpen sessions.
Lee will get an out at second. The relay throw is not in time. Cubs try to turn another double play.
Derek Lee turns the 3-6-3 as good as any right-handed first baseman in the game. A good cheat at second base by Neifi Perez, and once again Mike Riley, the crew chief, saying Derek Lee maybe came off the bag just a little bit too quickly. No, he's just saying that he beat it right there.
Well, word of the day, Ullman is up in the Cubs pen, and Eddie Garabito making his major league debut. He's a switch hitter, just got called up with Aaron Miles going on the DL. Garabito in his 10th pro season. He's been in the Orioles organization for a long time, but this is his first major league at bat. It's been a long time coming. And off to a good start at AAA Colorado Springs. On the ground, Hairston will throw him out. 7th inning stretch time.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, welcome Northern Illinois University head football coach Joe Novak.
All right, Cub fans, let's hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get a win!
Cubs leading the Rockies 8-1, bottom of the 7th. Great to have with us the head football coach at Northern Illinois, Joe Novak. As you see, the new Rockies pitcher, right-hander Marcos Carvajal. And the Huskies beat Troy University in the Silicon Valley Football Classic 34-21. The school's first postseason appearance in 21 years. Coach, congratulations on that win, and a nice job with Take Me Out to the ball game.
Well, thank you. I practiced. I'll guarantee you that. I wasn't going to mess up if I didn't have to.
It is Corey Patterson leading off here in the Cubs 7th. Well, we've been talking, Coach, about offense, and the Cubs getting some offense today. It's been great to see.
They sure have. I'd sure like to take credit for it, Len. I don't think I can, but it's good to see him hitting the ball.
Well, we got a couple of Ohio guys here in the booth, Bob Brenly and Joe Novak. Now, you went to Miami, correct?
I went to Miami. From Cleveland originally, went to Miami.
We'll excuse you for that.
Where are you?
Ohio University.
The Bobcats.
That's
the
right.
dreaded Bobcats. Great rivalry.
Tremendous rivalry.
2-0 on Corey Patterson. High and deep right field. That one will go. Finds Sheffield, and it's 9-1. That's his 10th home run. 3 homers for the Cubs the last 2 innings.
Boy, no doubt about this one. Fastball, middle of the plate, middle of the thighs. Corey knows he's got it as soon as he hits that ball. A little bit of helping wind, but it didn't need any help today. That ball was smoked.
All of Corey's 10 home runs have been solo shots. Henry Blanco to deep center. Wilson will make the catch. So we're in late May. Tell us about what's going on with the program at this time of the year.
Well, Len, we just all the schools just finished our spring recruiting. We've been on the road the month of May. I just got back in yesterday, and right now we're just sitting down, getting our recruiting list organized, getting our camps ready. And then the end of June and July, the coaches will take a few weeks off, and we got 99 days till we open with Michigan, so it's not that far away.
Counting the days.
Yeah, you know, you've built that program into one of those schools that the big schools used to like to schedule Northern Illinois and Ohio University and schools like that to fatten up the records a little bit, but you've proven that that's no sure thing. You've beaten some ranked teams the last few years.
It's tougher to schedule now, Bob. There's no doubt about that, but that's a pleasant problem to have.
Absolutely.
1 ball, no strikes on the pinch hitter Todd Walker. He's batting for Todd Wellemeyer. He did a great job today and is poised to get the win in relief. It'll be his first win of the year. So I'm from the central Michigan area. Now, is the name of it, is it Kelly Short Stadium? Is that the name of it?
Kelly Short Stadium up in Chippewa.
That's right.
Exactly. Mount Pleasant.
But Mount Pleasant. You'll be up there in early November. Here's a 2-0 hit in the air to center. And that's an easy play for Wilson. So you have any good Ohio stories? I mean, any great games against Ohio? We got to get something here with Bob in the booth.
Well, against Ohio U, we've had some great games. I played for Bo Schembecker at Miami, and it was really intense. Bill Hess was the coach at Ohio U at the time, and a great rivalry. And it was always a difficult game, and the students really got into it back then, too. So it was a fun time.
Yeah, we used to start tailgating about 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays, getting ready for those football games.
There are a few establishments in Athens now. I think there's one for every corner plus several more. It's a town of about 8,000 people with 20 bars, if I'm right, Bob.
Well, they probably closed a few since I left.
Jerry
Beautiful
Hairston.
campus. Great school.
One strike on Hairston. So you open up at Michigan.
Michigan, then Northwestern after that, Lynn. So we got two Big Ten teams to open up.
Behind short, and it's Relaford to make the catch. Coach Joe Novak from Northern Illinois. Great job today. Good luck. Hey, enjoy your summer, all right?
I will. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Cubs are leading 9-1 after 7. 9 runs on 10 hits for the Cubs today. They lead 9-1. Well, on Sunday, the first 20,000 fans will receive a scratch and win card with a chance to win an MLB authenticated autographed Billy Williams photo. 500 random winners will take a photo home compliments of MBNA. Fans are encouraged to hold on to their cards for second chance drawings throughout the game. For complete rules, visit Cubs.com. Will Ullman is on. Todd Wellemeyer with 3 2/3 innings. Did not give up a run. Didn't allow a hit. Ezzy Relaford has had a rough afternoon. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
It's amazing how many times you see that happen.
You don't see that happen that much.
Not very often. Thank goodness. And, you know, a reliever just sitting down there minding his own business, anticipating probably a quiet day. Mark Pryor on the mound. You figure he's going to work deep into the ball game, and middle relievers may have a day off. And unfortunately, the injury to Mark Pryor, you find yourself in a ball game and go out there and just absolutely dazzle. Wellemeyer really threw the ball well today.
Jose Acevedo is a right-hander for the Rockies. Here comes a lefty, and it's low. Of course, you expect a lefty to come up with a word of the day. And it's been a popular feature. Two. Hit hard on the ground to right at Nafee. I got to give Will Ullman some credit. I was in the clubhouse the other day, and he had his little laptop computer with all of his music on the computer, and he was listening to some Dirt Bombs. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard the Dirt Bombs. Are from Detroit, but they actually, here's the band: 2 bass players, 2 drummers.
A lot of bottom end.
Yeah, it's interesting. Swing and a miss. So I said, "You've heard of the Dirt Bombs?" He said, "There's no way you've heard of them. Aren't too many people out there who know them, but the people who do are big fans." I think you might enjoy them. It's like kind of a garage band, kind of a mid-60s sound.
You know some Dirt Bomb fans.
Tell you what, next time they come to Chicago, we'll try to
catch
it. All right.
Sounds good.
It's unique. One to Gonzalez. Nafee again on the grass, and bounces a throw, and Lee cannot handle it. And it's going to be a hit for Gonzalez.
Now, Nafee playing very deep at shortstop to begin with. He was about 2 steps back on the grass. Took a little bit of time to get his feet underneath him and redirect to make that throw to first base. And when he does, he spikes it in the dirt. Tough long hop there for Derek Lee. He's unable to come up with it.
Todd Helton still hitless for the series, 0 for 6.
Did you see Todd Helton's reaction right there? A breaking ball, and he kind of almost shied away from it like he was caught by surprise. Something that he's been known to do before. Ryan Sandberg used to do it to set the pitcher up to try to throw that pitch again later in the sequence, at which point he'll be all over it. Rhino was notorious for that. If you threw him a breaking ball early in the sequence, he would knee buckle and dive out of the batter's box and then sit on that pitch the remainder of the at bat. And if he got another one, he was going to hit it hard somewhere. Helton has that same reputation against left-handed pitchers, to try to set them up to throw that breaking ball.
Gonzalez not being held on at first, and it's 2-1 on Helton.
Now, one of your jobs as a catcher is to watch how a hitter reacts to certain pitches. If you throw Todd Helton a fastball down the middle of the plate and he doesn't even offer at it, that's a pretty good indication that he's sitting on something off speed. And you should call pitches accordingly. There's a fastball down the heart of the plate. Didn't even look like he wanted to offer at it. Now with 2 strikes, he's just going to have to battle up there. But the thing to do is, if you feel he's looking for an off-speed pitch or a breaking ball, throw one, but just throw it where he can't get to it.
Full count.
And there's a certain timing to a batter's swing, and as a catcher, you're sitting right there and you can kind of feel the rhythm of the swing. And if you throw an off-speed pitch and the guy doesn't commit as early as you think he should, great breaking ball down low out of the zone right there, got the swinging strike. You throw an off-speed pitch and the batter just freezes and sees it really good. That's an indication that either the pitcher is tipping his pitches or the hitter is just guessing right a lot. Good tight slider down low and away.
Now, Will Omen has allowed just 1 run this year, and that was over the weekend against the White Sox. Swing and a miss, and another good slider from Will Omen. Said he really started to feel like he belonged in the big leagues again when he faced Cliff Floyd on May 11th. Said Henry Blanco asked him what he wanted to do. He said, let's strike him out. He started to feel very aggressive in the mindset of just getting the job done as opposed to just being appreciative that he's here. He's very appreciative to be back in the big leagues, but it's that attitude you carry out there on the mound, and he has been very aggressive.
It's that old cliche. It's one thing to get to the big leagues. It's another thing to stay in the big leagues. And once you get here, this is strictly a performance-based job. What have you done lately?
He did strike out Floyd, by the way. And that at bat, a high drive the other way. Burnitz is back and out of room, and that's a home run. So Will Omen gives up a 2-run homer to Preston Wilson. What's he going to do with it? There it is. That might turn out to be a meaningless home run, but it's never a meaningless home run for a pitcher. That ball was way up.
Way up. You can see Henry Blanco coming out of his crouch. That pitch was about shoulder high and off the outside corner of the plate. Preston Wilson with a very late swing, but those big strong guys can hit the ball a long way when it's already elevated for them. The pitch was well up and out of the strike zone.
Wilson with 2 home runs in the series. Slider strike on Hop to make it 1-1. Another guy, and he's a lefty, of course, who's really into music, is Glendon Rush. Got about 4,000 songs in his iPod. There's some interesting music on the days he starts. Fair ball, and Blanco will throw out Hop to end the inning. Wilson with a 2-run homer, but they are dancing in the aisles. Yeah, maybe some Dirt Bombs music. Cubs lead 9-3.
William Jackson in our downtown studios. If you're just joining us, Mark Pryor was nailed by a line drive and had to leave the game in the 4th inning. Pryor left the park and drove himself to Northwestern Hospital for precautionary x-rays. Much more tonight on Sports Night at 6:30. But now back to Lynn and Bob.
Thank you, William. It is 9-3 Cubs as they'll face Jose Acevedo here in the home half of inning number 8. And Nathy Perez doing a lot of damage against his former team today. A double, a home run, and 4 RBIs, tying a career high. 38,771 here at Wrigley. A wide in the 0-1 and a swing and a strike. Nothing in 2. Called strike 3. It's the 4th time the Cubs have struck out today. Derek Lee has walked twice, RBI single, and a home run. Cubs have hit 3 long balls today.
Four unintentional walks, 1 intentional walk, and you really do have to believe that those are directly related to the success that the Cubs have had in swinging the bats today.
Over toward the visiting dugout, and it'll bounce off the top and into the seats. So Carlos and Derek Lee at the top of the RBI leaderboard. Center field and deep, way back, and that one is into the basket. Derek Lee with a 2-homer game. Give him 14 on the year. And the Cubs into double digits.
It must be nice to have this kind of power. There is no part of the ballpark that he cannot go out of. He hit a ball very similar to this yesterday with the wind howling straight in that was caught on the warning track, but today a little bit of a crosswind did not even affect that rocket into the center field vines.
It comes with 4 home runs. Third time Derek Lee has hit 2 home runs in a game. Last time, of course, with that great performance at Pittsburgh on the last trip. That is a fair ball backhanded by Atkins, and a bad throw. Look out, Sarge. Gary Matthews having to get out of the way. It has been a rough defensive day for Garrett Atkins. Made a big error in the 4th inning. And 4 unearned runs followed, and a throwing error here in the 8th.
Relatively simple backhanded play. Looked like he just didn't have a real good grip on that ball. Well, we laugh about Sarge having a magnet in his uniform. Seems like every batted and thrown ball down in that direction comes right at him. But all kidding aside, that's an important part of your job as a first base coach, is to try to stay out of the line of fire. One of my first games as a first base coach with the San Francisco Giants, I got hit on a play similar to that, got hit by the throw, and our runner was not able to advance. And in Candlestick Park, you could always advance on an overthrow at first base, but because the ball hit me, our runner had to stay at first base. And I quickly learned to get out of the line of fire.
Cubs tying their season high as a team with the 4 home runs today. Last time they did it was May 10th against the Mets. So 4 times this year they have hit 4 home runs. The Chicagoland Speedway Cubs upcoming schedule, Comcast Sportsnet for the rest of the weekend, and also Monday 7 o'clock Central Time from Los Angeles. Fly and left center, and it's caught by Holiday. So Derek Lee with his 2nd home run of the afternoon. Cubs with 10 runs today. 9th inning, and the Cubs scoring 10 runs for the first time since April 25th against the Cincinnati Reds, and the 3rd time this year they have scored at least 10 runs. Mark Pryor struggled in the 2nd inning. He did have 3 strikeouts today, loaded the bases with nobody out, but it gave up just 1 run, so he was able to settle down after that. And then in the 4th inning, Brad Hopp leading off the inning, lined one off the right arm near the elbow, and that was it for Mark Pryor today. Very scary situation for the Cubs. LaTroy Hawkins trying to close out the Rockies.
As you mentioned, in that 2nd inning, he did walk 3 batters. A bases loaded situation with nobody out, but was able to minimize the damage, giving up only 1 run. Struck out Joe Kennedy, the pitcher, and Desi Relaford, the leadoff hitter, to end the inning, and then struck with that line drive. And we have not heard any official reports at this point. Obviously, if we do before the end of the ball game, we'll let you know.
Kick in the 1-1. Off the plate, 2 balls and a strike on Holiday. Looking at the Cubs minor leagues, outfielder Matt Merton with West 10, 3 for 5 with a double last night in a 6-3 10-inning loss to Mobile. But Matt Merton is leading the Southern League in batting average, hitting .399. Now, he came over along with Nomar in that deal with the Boston Red Sox last year. So off to a great start. Diamondbacks are 33-14, leading the North Division of the Southern League. That's a Double-A. Look out.
As you know, Len, we get these minor league notes every day, and I looked under the Iowa Cubs, the little bullet points. Ronnie Cedeno went 4 for 5 with a pair of solo homers. 3rd baseman Scott McLean hit a grand slam in the 9th inning, and you'd think that would be enough to win a ball game, but unfortunately the Cubs went down 12-10 to Sacramento last night. Not exactly a pitcher's duel.
Behind first, and it is Hairston calling off Derek Lee, and he makes a catch. Now, catcher Giovanni Soto with his 10th home run. He's a Triple-A. Oh, what a great day to be out at the ballpark. This has been the kind of afternoon Garrett Atkins would probably just soon forget, with the 2 errors defensively, and the one in the 4th inning was a big one. Cubs would score 4 unearned runs after that error. Hawkins with a 1-1 inside. The last time Hawk was out there, he threw 3 pitches in the 9th inning Wednesday against Houston.
Boy, right center field is turning into an Alfred Hitchcock movie here. Seagulls coming in from all over the place.
Wow, what a great movie that was. Tippi Hedren.
Ooh.
That was set in Northern California, I believe. So maybe they have migrated to the Midwest. Called strike 3.
Good power fastball at the knees on the outside corner from LaTroy Hawkins. You know, obviously Hawk struggled earlier this season, but physically he appears to be fine. His fastball is topping out in the mid-90s now, consistently pitching at 93, 94. Showing better consistency with the breaking ball. And this is what Dusty had in mind. Get him into some low pressure games. Let him work on his confidence more than anything else. They always felt the stuff was there, but good opportunity. Dusty picking his spots to get LaTroy Hawkins back out on that mound, have some success, and try to build on it.
So a win today, the Cubs would get to within 2 of 500. It would be 4-4 on the homestand, and a chance, if they could win the final 2 games, to get back to 500 overall before the 7-game trip to Southern California. Outside 3-1. Closser fouls it back to the screen. So it's full at 3-2. Kim against Rush tomorrow. Francis and Mitre on Sunday. A 2-out walk. So it's Corey Sullivan to bat for the pitcher Acevedo.
To his credit, J.D. Closser, we mentioned it earlier, struggling on the season, was hitting 169 coming into play today. But in 84 at bats this season, he has drawn 14 walks. So showing a pretty good eye at the plate, even though he's not having a lot of success when he does make contact.
And Closser will go towards second. He's going to stop there on the Sullivan single.
Just lays the bat on the ball. A perfect example of not trying to do too much with the pitch. Just took a fastball that was out over the plate and Shot it through that hole in the left side of the infield. Tell you, when a hitter does that, it makes hitting look so easy. It just looked like he was very relaxed, just laid the bat out there in the strike zone. A couple of defenders waiting for a ball.
Relaford 0 for 4. Finally made contact and a ground out in the 8th that struck out his first 3 times. Two men on with 2 down here in the 9th. Todd Wellemeyer 3 2/3 innings and poised to get his first win of the year.
Even here in the top of the 9th inning with a 7-run lead, you've got the opposing catcher on second base staring right in at Henry Blanco's signs, and just wanted to make sure that LaTroy Hawkins, Henry Blanco on the same page, what signs they're using. Make sure Closser doesn't relay anything to Desi Relaford at the plate.
Hawkins with a 1-1. Now 1-2. So a strike away. Ten runs on 11 hits for the Cubs. Rockies with 3 on 5. The pitch. Over Hawkins, charging is Perez, and he will not make a throw. So just like that, the bases are loaded. And this inning continuing with Luis Gonzalez coming up.
That's been the kind of luck LaTroy Hawkins has had this year. He makes a good pitch, gets right in on the fists of Desi Relaford. Just a little jam shot floater barely over LaTroy Hawkins. Gets out into the infield grass and just dies. That's all you can do as a pitcher, is execute your pitch. You can't control the results, and that time, not a good result.
It's past Hawkins. Hairston with a nice play to get him. Jerry Hairston, terrific barehanded play to get Gonzalez to end it. So Hawkins loads him up with 2 outs. They get some great defense to end it. The final today, Cubs offense really getting it going. 10-3 over the Rockies, and the series knotted up at a game apiece. And our Hyundai player of the game, Nafi Perez, sparked the offense today. Couple of hits, a double, a home run, and he knocked in 4 of the Cubs' 10 runs. So the Cubs within 2 games of 500 at 22-24. The Rockies are now 14-32, including 4-21 away from Coors Field. Four home runs for the Cubs, 2 in the 6th. Patterson in the 7th, Derek Lee in the 8th. Derek hit 2 home runs today. And speaking of Derek Lee, standing by with Chuck Garfien.
All right, thank you very much. Well, the offense had been struggling. 10 runs on the board. Really opened the floodgates, huh?
Yeah, it's nice to kind of have a breather today. Scored some runs and made it a little bit easier on our pitchers. It was unfortunate Mark went out. Hopefully he's okay. Go check on him. But Todd Wellemeyer came in and did a great job.
Yeah, you mentioned Mark, and it seemed like you guys really rallied behind, the injury that happened and came together at the end. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, we talked about it before the game. We had to do something to score some runs. I thought we did a good job today. We got some breaks, and we were a little bit more patient today, and it worked out for us.